If you love Fourth Wing but have no knowledge or experience with chronic illness/disabilities or invisible illness, then hi, my name is Jordan. I suffer from about 6 chronic illnesses and disabilities, and I want to talk about the specific illness that Violet has in Fourth Wing. For those that don't know, Violet has something called Ehlers-Danlos Syndrome, or EDS for short. And I did mention that I had a bunch of chronic illness and disabilities, and I am not just talking about this because I have random chronic illness disabilities. I actually do have Ehlers-Danlos syndrome in that umbrella of things as well. What I do suffer from, I suffer from Crohn's, arthritis, I have Ehlers-Danlos, POTS, I do suffer from alopecia areata, and then I also have endometriosis as well. To put it simply, Ehlers-Danlos syndrome is a connective tissue disease that has to do with lack of collagen production and functionality, which basically causes hypermobile joints and things that support your bones, and it basically affects your whole body in different ways. There are multiple different types, but one of the most common is hypermobile Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, which is what I have. Rebecca Yarros and her kids have Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, which is why she decided to write a main character in a war college with Ehlers-Danlos. So because it affects your connective tissues and it usually causes hypermobility, then you run into the problems that Violet does in Fourth Wing, and you're more prone to dislocations and injuries and things of that nature. Everybody's Ehlers-Danlos is going to be different and affect them differently or be more severe or less severe depending on their illness. So for example, mine, I was just recently diagnosed within the last couple of years, but looking back at my whole life, I've had it my whole life. I was a competition gymnast when I was in elementary school, and every single year, without fail at the same time of year, I would stress fracture the growth plate in my ankle and have an injury to my ankles, and I was always breaking bones really easily / dislocating things. My sister pulled me up the stairs when we were 3 and 4 years old, and she dislocated my shoulder. And looking back, no doctor ever was like, you've had a lot of really weird injuries where you shouldn't have, like, let's look into this. So it wasn't until the last couple of years that we put all the pieces together and was like, oh, that's what I had this whole time. I just didn't know it until now. And I've always had these kind of like party tricks that I've been able to do with my joints and body, which now I know is just the Ehlers-Danlos. So for example, my elbows have always been very hyperextended. It literally looks like my elbow is inside out when I have it like this. I can like dislocate my shoulder from the socket on both arms. And I can like concave my sternum in, which isn't very safe to do, so I don't do it a whole lot to show people. I can move my hip bones in and out of place like purposefully or whatever. My knees also are very hyperextended, so they go past where they're supposed to go. I can pop almost every single one of my joints. I have a lot of joint pain and issues, and with the arthritis caused by my rheumatoid issues, it kind of clashes and makes just the pain a lot more severe. People with Ehlers-Danlos are often referred to as zebras, so in the dedication to Iron Flame, that's why it says, to all my zebras, not all strength is physical. That's where that comes from. And I also just want to say that not all hypermobility is going to be Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. It is very specific and has a bunch of criteria for it to be considered Ehlers-Danlos. You usually have to go to a geneticist to be able to diagnose because it is a problem in your genes and the collagen deficiency as well. So not all hypermobility will be Ehlers-Danlos, but a type of Ehlers-Danlos is hypermobile. Because I have hypermobile Ehlers-Danlos syndrome and it is connective tissue related, my joints do not know when to naturally stop. What I mean by that is if I have my arms like up above my head, like laying back at night, my joints don't know that they're supposed to stop moving at a certain point. They will just keep like stretching and going and going and going until something stops it, but it'll stay there. And so when I wake up and try to move, it causes a lot of pain and issues. That happens in the small of my back too when I'm standing for too long. My spine will like continue just kind of shifting and going because it just doesn't know when to stop. There was one time I had like my neck back for a really long time, or like down, and my joints just kind of like stretch. They'll just keep going, and so it causes a lot of pain and issues as well. Having a main character in a fantasy book representing an illness like Ehlers-Danlos means more to me than I could possibly put into words. A lot of the times we are very limited and stunted in what we can do. We have to give up certain things. We have to adapt to life and do things different ways and find new ways to do things based on the way that our bodies work. And so to read about someone who is able to overcome that and be strong and have so many strengths in so many different ways just is so amazing, and I absolutely love Rebecca for writing a character like this. Violet means so much to me, and she came into my life at a time when I was newly diagnosed slash had not seen or read or heard about very many people who have these issues. So it came into my life at the perfect time, and she has said before that she does not speak for like all Ehlers-Danlos. She's not an expert or anything, and I'm not either. This is just how it affects me in my day-to-day life and how I feel about Violet as a character. And I have so much love for Rebecca for writing a character like this and just bringing these books into my life, because these books changed my life. That's all there is to it. Violet means so much to me, and I will own as many of these books as I can because they truly are so good. But that is just a little bit about Ehlers-Danlos for those who have never heard of it and don't know what it is, and maybe had wanted to or just kind of wanted a better idea of how it affects people in real life. But let me know if you have any questions about Ehlers-Danlos or anything else in general, I guess. But yeah, that's it.